Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining this session of ClearTech Loop. I am Joe Peterson. I'm the CIO of Clarify 360 and the Chief Analyst at ClearTech Research. And I've got a wonderful guest today, Mr. Marcus Cylar. Hi, Marcus. How are you?
Hi, Joe. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to join.
And thank you for having me. It's an honor
Oh,
to be
you're
here.
welcome. If y'all aren't following Marcus, you should be, because he's a consultant and thought leader in the GRC space. So as everyone knows, we're a hot take on AI security, and I'm going to be asking Marcus 3 questions, which is our normal format. And so let's get going. Marcus, first question, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. AI agents hold delegated credentials, make authorization decisions in real time, and can spawn sub-agents with their own permission sets. Traditional IAM and PAM tools weren't built for this. What does a realistic path to least privilege access for AI agents actually look like for a large enterprise today?
Before I answer that question, I want to offer some immediate pushback. Not to say that you're wrong about the traditional IAM and PAM tools not being built for this, but the question I want to ask is it so much that those tools are not sufficient for where we're going with AI agents, or is it just the fact that we're not keeping things in a proper perspective as far as what AI agents are capable of doing and what kinds of controls we need to be able to have on them that are even independent from the tools that we have in place right now. So that's the first question that I ask. And the reason why I think about that is you remember Watson, right? I'm sure you remember Watson from IBM. So
sure.
I think about when I think about Watson, basically Watson crawled so that all these other AI agents that we have now, it's been 20 years or so since then. So Watson crawled so everyone else can run all the tools and all the agents that we have today, right? And so I remember when Watson was on Jeopardy. Right. So when Watson was on Jeopardy, did the rules of the game change for Watson? Watson was playing against human contestants. The name of the game didn't change. It was still Jeopardy. The objectives didn't change. The competition didn't change, right? And so Watson wasn't playing a modified version of Jeopardy. Wasn't playing a watered down version. He was playing the machine was playing Jeopardy, the same Jeopardy that we've all known and loved for years. That's the game that Watson was playing, and so that's what I think about when I think about artificial intelligence, and I think about when I think about answering your question about least privileged access, right? I think about the fact that if we think about why the tech is intimidating in the first place, because we're looking at the newness of AI, and we're scrambling to try to whip up these new rules and these new standards, and we need to emphasize more than ever, I think, the fundamentals of security. And you might find me saying that a lot, but we really need to lean back into the fundamentals and making sure that we're stewarding those fundamentals well. I mean, we're overall security has not changed. We're still supposed to be protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of systems, right? Separation of duties, that's still important. Role-based access control, that's still important. Making sure that we're being conservative with our permissions and having a good handle on how we handle approval workflows and things of that nature, and how we handle monitoring and logging and making sure that we're doing those things properly. Those are the fundamentals that are still important. And then my favorite, which is my passion and my focus, is security awareness. Security awareness training is still important, and it's more important than ever. Right. And not only is it important, but because the stakes are higher, because of the potential for damage that AI can wield, because it's so much more. I think that puts more of an importance on the fundamentals and more of an importance on awareness training so that we can build a more knowledgeable and prepared workforce, right? And so, finally, to hopefully to answer your question, I can't really answer in detail what a realistic path to least privilege access is, but what I can say is I believe that path starts with a passionate return to the fundamentals of cybersecurity.
Well, you bring up such a good point because I've been thinking about AI awareness training as well. Remember 10, 15 years ago, we started giving employees phishing training for their emails, right? And I'm waiting for the company that comes out and says, hey, here's some AI awareness training for y'all, because AI has become ubiquitous. And so many folks, to your point, in the workforce, just like email, are using AI on the daily. And yet, are we doing a good enough job as enterprise leaders teaching our folks about how to use AI properly? I wonder.
I think that is a legitimate question and concern, obviously, but I would say that the best way right now, because the tech is still evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So my background was electrical engineering. I did that in undergrad, and then I kind of stepped away from the tech space for a long time. I was in Christian ministry for over 25 years, and I just kind of got back into the tech space about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I remember when I was coming up in electrical engineering, we always heard about Moore's law and and how that cycles, every 18 months. But we're so far past Moore's law right now.
Yeah.
Like, things are changing. It seems like every 18 hours, right? And so I think that the best way right now, as things are still changing, as we're still in the wild west kind of portion of the evolution of AI, while we're still kind of in that space, I think the best way to do AI training right now is to shore up regular awareness training. And the reason why I say that is because if you have and I know that you've talked on other shows. I've had a chance to I've had a chance to watch a few, and I know we've talked about shadow AI and the impact of that on the business. If you have an informed and if you have an aware workforce, then you're going to have people who are less likely to try to implement shadow AI on their own. But then also, you're going to have leaders who don't allow for the conditions under which, and hopefully this makes sense, under which shadow AI persists in the workplace anyway. So what I mean is, not only do you have a workforce who is informed about the dangers of having shadow AI in the workplace and what that could do, but then you also have a workforce who doesn't turn into the Department of No, but they're people who work with their employees and create the type of environment where new things can be tried, new things can be tested, and they present that environment, they curate that environment for that to take place in a safe way, where not only are employees not encouraged to go to shadow AI, but there's more. What's the word I'm looking for? There's more.
They're more open to it. Yeah.
Transparency. There's more transparency around the tools that people are using, and I just think that yes, we do need to have specific AI training, but that training is going to change so much that by the time you get that training, it could be outdated, and then and so it needs to be ongoing. But before you even get there, we need to shore up our just regular awareness training, and we need to make sure that we're not doing it as a means to an end, as a means to just fulfill your compliance requirements, but it's
Mhm.
something that you're doing because you've established a culture of awareness at your company.
Yeah.
Awareness is not just something that you're doing to check a box, but awareness is something that you're doing because you've made a decision as a company that that is something that is of paramount importance. And I don't think enough businesses, at least from where I'm sitting, I don't see enough businesses doing that. So
Yeah.
we need to have first things first before we really get into the nuts and bolts of AI. I think though the companies who are going to really thrive in this space moving forward, I believe are the ones who are going to have the greatest handle on the fundamentals and are going to be the companies that have the best culture of awareness and the best culture around foundational principles.
Fair enough. All right. Well, um, so I'm going to sort of condense the second and third question because I think they're close. If a
Okay.
CISO in this audience is starting from zero on AI agent governance, no agent specific controls, no monitoring, what is the single most important thing they should do in the next 30 days?
So again, I'm going to go back to fundamentals, and this is going to be a fundamental answer, but really getting a handle on your system inventory.
Right.
So before you can even discern your AI inventory, you have to have a good system inventory, and you need to make sure and figure out what your overall system inventory is from soup to nuts. Everything in your environment, everything in your organization, you have to figure out what you have and make sure it's accounted for. Then you go through that inventory and see if there are agents that are in place that within those tool sets that and you need to evaluate the permissions that are in place, see if there are agents attached to those, and see what permissions they've been given, see if any of those permissions need to be revoked, and also make a note of who owns those controls, who's responsible for them. Either it's an individual or a team. You have to figure that out as well. And then finally, you have to sit down with everybody in the company. And this is something that is going to require, and I'm going to go back again to having a good security culture. So if you have the right culture in your workplace, then what I'm about to say is something that's going to, I think is something that's more likely to happen because it's going to take a level of trust. You're going to have to sit down with everybody in the company, and depending on how big your company is, you might need to scale this conversation with a survey, or there might be, you might have to do it like by department or something like that, and it might take some time. But you need to ask everybody in the company somehow, and really ask them to be honest and tell you. And we're going to the shadow AI thing again. What
Mhm.
AI platforms are you using right now? What agents are you using right now? That haven't been approved for company use. And again, I'm speaking to culture right now because you need to have a culture in place where people can be honest, and where you have convinced the people that you're talking to that there's not going to be any retribution for your honesty right now. There's not going to be any fallout from you admitting, yes, I've been using some shadow AI. Yes, I've been using tools that we have not yet approved as a workforce. And when you're asking for this honesty, and you get people to be honest with you, you just need to make sure that you have made sufficient promises to them and let them know that, okay, there's nothing that's going to happen. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose any kind of bonuses that may be on the table for you being honest. We just need you to be honest right now because we need to have a handle on everything that's going on so that we can make decisions moving forward. And not only do we need you to be honest as employees, but as the leaders of the company, we need to listen to you. As you're telling us these things, we need to take them as signals as to, okay, these are the things that our teams are thinking about. Because any use of shadow AI is just indicative of these are the tools that the workforce wants to use, and that just means that these are needs that have been identified. These are needs that are on the table. How do we meet those needs in a way that's going to embrace their concerns? And how do we present ourselves as not being the Department of No, right? But also making sure that we are being receptive to what our workforce believes needs to happen. How can we work with them to implement these things in a safe way that is going to, again, secure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the systems in our place. So again, it's something that speaks to culture, and it speaks to the honesty is going to have to be in place in order for you to get the data that you need in order to have what you need to be able to make the changes that need to happen. And so I guess that may not be the single thing. It might have been, I think that might have been 3 things that I said there, but those are the things I think need to happen within the next 30 days. Or that's what I would do. That's the direction that I would go in if I were a CISO. So yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with empathy and human in the loop, right? So
Absolutely.
New take on human in the loop. But thank you for taking time to visit today. Thank you, audience, for joining. Marcus is making us think maybe a little bit differently. So that's always a good thing. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and see you next time.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.